parents. This is Anna Gallagher. I just kind of wanted to share a few things with you about what your child is learning this week in math. One of the things that we use in math class is a math journal, and the students are allowed to bring the math journal home. I don't have a problem with that. They just need to make sure that they bring it back each day because we do usually use our math journal every day in class. This week we've started with Unit 1, and we're talking about decimals. There are tabs in your students' journals, and so that we check off as we complete a certain lesson. And then once we get to the end of all the lessons, then it's time to start reviewing and get ready for our unit test. So I know these are all checked off. This is my journal from last year. I thought it'd be easier just to show y'all that, just to kind of go over quickly the things that we're learning. But we will have a unit test, but it won't be until the next week. In this first unit, we did talk about UPS check. It's pretty much just like a problem-solving strategy that we use in class. It stands for understand, then plan and solve, and then check our work. So it's a lot of times we go over these steps a lot when we're working on especially longer problems in class or those word problems, and that's usually what we use the UPS check for. When it comes to decimals in 5th grade, one of the first things the students have to be able to do is know the forms of decimals. We put our numbers in standard form, word form, and expanded form and notation, expanded notation. Standard form is just the number, just written in their digits. Word form is what it says, the number in its word form. And then our expanded form and expanded notation, this here would be our expanded form, just taking each of the numbers and expanding them out by their places. Expanded notation is where we take the numbers and we are multiplying by the place that they are in. So this number would be 4 times 1 because it's in the ones place, and 3 times 1/10 because it's in the tenths place. Same for here. This would be, if we're looking at the expanded notation, this would be 2 times 10 plus 1 times 1 plus 1 times 1/10 plus 7 times 1/100th, and then 8 times 1/1000th. And another thing that I've shown the students too is just remembering the order of our place value, that we start with the ones place, then we have our decimal point, and then we have tenths, hundredths, and the thousandths. After we've done the decimal forms, we've moved on to comparing decimals. And when we're comparing decimals, we are just getting 2 decimal numbers and usually comparing them. We talked about this today with the students, and you can use models. So these are base 10 models. We can use a number line, or we can just use place value by lining up our digits and then comparing place by place. So in this one here, since they both have a 4 in the ones place, we have to start comparing them in the tenths place. And since 5/10 is more than 3/10, then 4.563 is greater than 4.367. Tomorrow, we are going over rounding decimals. I may be using a different foldable for them tomorrow, but everything else is basically the same. We basically talk about rounding the decimals to the tenths or the hundredths place. And so if we have this number, we can round 7.248 to the nearest tenth. And I show them like on a number line or just by using the numbers next door, how to compare them. So since 7.248 falls between 7.2 and 7.3, it's going to be closer to 7.2. If we were to round it to the nearest hundredth, this time it's going to be between 7.24 and 7.25. So now it's going to round up to 7.25. And then I always go ahead and talk about to the nearest whole number, because students sometimes aren't really sure what that means by the nearest whole number, and it usually just means that we're rounding it to the nearest ones place. So in this one, 7.248 is between 7 and 8, but it would be closer to 7. So just kind of talking about how we would round those decimals. And then the last thing in this unit is just adding and subtracting decimals. The main thing is what I have written here. You always need to line up your numbers at the decimal point. Don't forget, you can add zeros to the end of a decimal to make the numbers match up. We've got 2 examples, and then I've got examples in here as well. Don't forgetting those zeros. So if we did, and I try to give them an estimate too to help them. So like if we had 16 minus 4, that would be 12. So our answer needs to be around 12. Same here. I would round these to 8 and 16, so our answer should be around 24. It just helps them check their answers. And so then that kind of ends where we are with Unit 1, and then we'll get into Unit 2, hopefully starting next week. I know I went through this pretty quickly. If you have any further questions, please just let me know. The main thing is I want y'all to see what we're doing each day in our classes and see what we're working on, just so that you have a better idea of how to help your child at home if they have questions. I think that would be it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this.